Hello, welcome to Learn, Do, Become Radio. I'm April Perry, and here at Learn, Do, Become, we help people who are overwhelmed by the details of life to create simple systems so they can do what matters most. And today, I want to pose the question, how would you like to have a machine that could turn chaos into order? Now, initially, when I wrote out that question, I thought about the Cat in the Hat, and was it thing one and thing two? And at the end, they have this big red machine. They come in and they clean up the whole house before the mother gets home. We aren't going to build something exactly like that, but I actually think it's better because it is something that we can create on our own. We can maintain it, and it's going to make a huge difference. So in this podcast, I'm going to share the vision and help you to understand all of the parts of the machine so you can see exactly how it works. And I'll give some examples so that you can actually visualize it, creating that beautiful order in your own life. And if you have been with us for a while and you already built your system and you have it up and running, please share this episode with your friends so they can create one too. All right, now, although helping people get organized and out of overwhelm is my passion, I didn't always know how to do this. I literally grew up hiding piles under my bed and in my closet and under blankets and in stacks of boxes, and I could create clear space by moving things around, but I had no idea that life without piles of stuff was possible. There was no part of my brain that connected that possibility to my reality. And even after I learned how to declutter, once I got married and had our first child, and I read this decluttering book and my eyes opened, I learned how to get rid of the piles, but I still had mental piles. I still had my brain swirling throughout the day and at night, and things would overwhelm me, and I felt like I couldn't comprehend or I couldn't process everything that was coming into my life. I can now say, however, that I haven't had a pile in my life in over 15 years, and it's because I built a machine or a simple system that made the process effortless. And if you're thinking this is way too good to be true, please listen to this episode because this has become my life's work, and I'm so excited for you to have this as well. Now, the details for building this machine are not a secret. You can find descriptions and instructions and tons of examples throughout the podcasts here at Learn, Do, Become Radio and all over our social media and the videos I post to YouTube. Just search Learn, Do, Become on any platform and you can find it because I truly want everyone to know how to create peace of mind. But if you're new here, we do offer additional programs and support for people who would like that. People who are excited to have community and coaching and extra printables, videos, audios. The program's so good. I tell all my friends and family even, guys, the program is so good. Come build your Command Central. So you don't have to buy a program or office supplies or anything in order to build your machine and get totally organized. But I will link to our Steps to Everyday Productivity program on the show notes page so you can learn more about it because we want to help you with whatever level of support you would like. So let's jump into a few reasons why we have chaos in the first place. Sometimes it's just a lack of systems. So we pile up dishes or shopping bags full of household goods or gifts or knickknacks and other physical items that we could sort and organize in a better way. And sometimes other people in our homes and offices are contributing to the disarray and we don't have clear boundaries. There are some areas of our home that are not my personal areas, and they might not be exactly how I would like them, but that's okay because they're not my personal areas and I don't have to control everybody. But having those boundaries, just so we know, hey, what are the common spaces? What are my personal spaces? What are other people's spaces? They can do whatever they want. I think that's really healthy and important. Then there are other times that we inherit things or we feel a lot of emotion when we even think about parting with certain items. So we keep them in order to protect ourselves from feeling sad or angry or guilty or frustrated and things like that. So there are lots of reasons why we might have chaos. But today I just want to focus on the stuff that's related to work we actually need to get done. So this includes papers, digital files, and physical items that have actions associated with them. Essentially, our piles of stuff are holding information that we need, but we don't know what to do with all of those items in order to create order in our brains. One common solution is to divide the piles into smaller piles that have some kind of meaning, Like things for a bathroom remodel will go together. Financial documents will go together. School items can be kept in one pile. Work things can be kept in another, etc. But when we look at those smaller piles, our brains need to go through a thought process for every item over and over again. So you're thinking, oh, what does this one mean? What do I need to do here? And you've probably experienced this as you've scrolled thousands of emails and tried to connect the subject lines with what actions we need to take, because usually they're not the same. And that takes so much energy when you multiply it by 10, 50, 2,000, 5,000, or 100,000 things. So our minds, as the author David Allen says, go numb to the piles because you just can't process all of it, so you just go numb to it. Differentiating all of the projects, routines, tasks, etc. that are involved with getting the piles to go away makes you have to think too much, so you don't go deeper. And then the piles grow and more things are coming at you. Perhaps you take a class for your business and you get new ideas, or you see a social media account and you get tons of new recipe ideas. And then you decide you need to exercise more. And pretty soon you don't even know what to do with all those ideas. So you end up spinning in circles a lot and thinking it is your fault. So the machine that I'm talking about today solves that problem. And I know it's weird that I call my organization system a machine. So I looked up the definition, and this is what a machine is: an apparatus using or applying mechanical power and having several parts, each with a definite function and together performing a particular task. So while what I'm describing may not be mechanical power, there are different parts with definite purposes performing a particular task, which is getting you out of piles. And if you come to our show notes page, I have a couple fun before and after photos that came in recently. First is Tracy's. So you just see this desk that just looks like a very normal desk out there with tons of stuff on it. There are books. I think it might be like a little package of dog treats or something. There's papers. There's sticky notes. There's just like a bunch of things. Okay, spiral notebooks, all that. Then you look at her after and it's like clear space. And there's a specific book right next to the keyboard. Looks like maybe a journal or a little planner. Everything else is just stored. And there's, a nice photo frame and office decor that just looks nice. And you just think, oh my goodness, I want to be there. And the next is Lynette's. So you see this office space where you really can't see the desk and there's piles everywhere. And literally that just looks like the most normal picture to me, because that was like every room growing up, just stuff. You just have so much stuff. And then you see her after where it's clear and everything is put in a specific spot with a purpose. And all the things are either tossed or donated or put somewhere else, and it's just clear space. And it just feels so much better to walk into a space that has purpose instead of piles. So I want you to go look at those pictures because you'll be so inspired. And if you go to our social media, especially Instagram and Facebook right now, we have so many before and afters that we're sharing, and it's amazing. Okay, so now if you're ready to go a little deeper and you're thinking, all right, tell me more about this machine. So the STEP Command Central has 15 components, and just knowing them doesn't really help by itself, because you end up just trying to stick things into those components, and then you feel like, oh, I've got 15 places now to scan and decide what to do. You didn't help me at all, April. Okay. Now I'm going to put the diagram of the 15 components on the show notes as well, so you can just see them all. But I'll explain kind of higher level and then some examples here on the podcast. So if you are aware of the 15 parts, that's helpful, but you need to learn where to put things, how often to check them, and how to know that they'll come back to you at the right time. And sometimes I feel like when I talk about this, I'm so passionate about it. I'm trying to explain it as well as I can, because if you can just understand this concept, it will get rid of every pile that you have. Your stress level will go down. You will feel like you can focus again. It will make such a difference. And I know it sounds boring to talk about piles and papers and stuff, but it's not boring. It's like so life-changing. So I want to explain the 3 categories briefly that we have for these 15 components, okay? First, I'll start with the category that we have to deal with the least, and this is the as needed category. In the diagram, they're on the far right. These things will just sit there. But the daily and weekly reminders we'll talk about next will take you to those items when appropriate. So these are things like your filing cabinet, your support materials, a tickler, an incubation, a someday. Okay, it's things that are just sitting there. You don't have to go look at them and scan them every day. They're just there, but you'll go to them when you need them. Next is the weekly section. So you'll have a scheduled weekly review to pay attention to all these things, where it's things like you're going to process your inbox, look at your projects, your routines, your goals, things like that. And then you have a daily section, and that's a simple list. So every day you just focus on a few things. Like I've already done my weekly planning. I know what my current projects are for this month. I know what's on my calendar. So for my daily planning, I literally just have to look at my calendar, my next actions list. I'm kind of folding in some routines. It's very, very simple. My day just feels open and happy, but I'm getting a lot of things done without stress. Okay. So I want to give a few examples now, because if you're thinking, all right, I'm on board with the idea of building this machine. I understand I have daily, weekly as needed. Okay, I can do that. But how does this actually take the stress out of my life? Number one, let's talk about some administrative tasks. I recently made a return, and the company said, this should be processed in 2 weeks, but call back if not. I love that. I love when they put it on you, okay? So I will write down all the details. Then I create a calendar reminder referencing that information. And I keep that information in my support materials or the tickler or the project management software, digital paper files. Like there's a variety of places you can put it as you learn how to use the system. You can kind of see and figure out which one works best for you. But that way, when my calendar reminder pops up, I can find that information. I can check and see if the return was processed. I have the phone number and who I spoke with, and I know it will come back to me. Okay, so just little things like that. This is going to save you time and money and stress. All right, second, managing a big project with hundreds of parts. A lot of times we don't even want to do those projects because we just feel like, oh, I'm not good at project management, or oh, it's just too big. It's going to cause too much stress. So this past year, I did a huge revamp of our Steps to Everyday Productivity program. You've probably heard us talking about it on social media, or we've been including all these awesome testimonials coming in. We made it shorter. We made it faster. We made it more visual. It's more effective. Like, it's so fun. But there was a lot of information to consider and revise and look at and keep in mind and manage, etc. For example, there was a photo of an outline for the program. Actually, it was like 2 photos because we did a big whiteboard and we planned what we wanted the program to look like. I also needed to compare that to all the pages in our existing program because I wanted to bring over the good stuff we had already created. We also had a Google Doc with suggestions for brand new video scripts. Then I had a whole bunch of messages from the team where they had brainstormed, enhancements to the program based on what we'd heard from people who'd already gone through it. I had a whole bunch of testimonials we wanted to add in, and I had handwritten ideas that I'd, put in my dream journal. So there's all this stuff to consider. So what we did is we created a very simple project in our project management software. We use Asana, A-S-A-N-A. We made a little section for each module inside that project. And then we added and linked relevant details in the appropriate places. So I had some general things like the pictures we'd taken of the whiteboard. And then the section where we talked about adding in testimonials, that's where we had a link to all the testimonials we'd gathered, things like that. So everything was just kind of put in the right spot. Now, I'm so grateful that we had it so organized because earlier this year, I broke my shoulder skiing, and it was during the busiest part of the project. I'd planned to complete the revamp and get it all done, but I couldn't use my left arm. So I sat on a couch and I typed with voice to text, just using my right hand, and I just did voice to text for most of the creation of that program. But it wasn't that hard to do it because I could just sit there, and I had learned how to make it so easy to move forward on the project that I could just sit for 10 minutes and get right to work. And that is the key. And I wish I could add bolding or exclamation points or something like that to this part of the podcast. If you can learn to organize a project in such a way, kind of how I've outlined it here, or how we talk about it within our STEP program, that when you say, oh, I've got 10 minutes, and all right, the next 10-minute task is blank. And so it's very clear what it is, and you literally can just go to that project. You know exactly what to find. It takes about 10 seconds to find what you need. And then you just move forward and do 10 minutes of work, and then you can stop if you need to and know that you just took that little step. It's so easy. The time wasting comes when you spend half hour getting everything ready, and then you finally sit down and focus, and then someone interrupts you, and then you have to stop, and you're like, now I got to spend a half hour again. Next time I want to work on it to get my brain back. This is going to make the biggest difference, and it'll change the type of projects you even feel like you're capable of working on, because you'll just feel so prepared and so excited. If you're thinking, I'm not going to go build a step program, April, but maybe you're cleaning a closet, maybe you're organizing your whole house, maybe you're planning a big family event, maybe there's a big carnival at the school you're helping with. I mean, whatever it is, the principles are the same when you have a project with hundreds of subtasks. All right, third example. It's a parking spot for my dreams. The machine will hold your dreams. There are a lot of things that I want to do, but the timing hasn't been right for all of them. And I'm sure you know that feeling. Like, there are books I want to read and skills like playing ragtime music on the piano. I don't know why I love ragtime so much, but I want to learn how to do that. I want to travel. I want to do a lot. But I simply put these on my someday list when it's not the right time. And then I just check that every few months. Now, checking your someday list can be part of something like a quarterly routine where you could write it down and have reminders and make sure you check it. Or you can just say, hey, I'll check this whenever I have bandwidth. But our brains need to know that they can rest without losing options. Because that's a lot of what makes us feel stressed, is you think, if I relax, I might never get to travel or read or explore or learn those skills. But if you know it's on a someday list, you think, yeah, if the time's right or when the time is right, I'll get to that. But right now I'm focusing on these other things because they're higher priority. That feels so good. We often look at messy rooms or messy offices, and we think that we just need a big block of time to dive in and clean up the mess. But what we really need is this machine. We need the distinct parts that can help us to make decisions and pull things out of piles and create clarity. If you are feeling excited and you are ready to build your Command Central, please come to our show notes page. I will include a link to how you can start stepping for free. We've got lots of resources here on the website, but we're trying to keep them simple enough or a focused enough list that you won't feel overwhelmed by it. We also have a YouTube channel. If you go to Learn, Do, Become on YouTube, we have a new video we're posting every week. And we work really hard on those, so I think you'll love them. And it's very visual, and it gives you a chance to hopefully feel more connected and to be able to learn the concepts. And then, of course, please share your comments or questions here on the show notes page. We want to support you as you get your system in place. I just want to emphasize that getting out of overwhelm is totally possible, and we're just so grateful for the chance to serve you. Okay, have an amazing day. We'll see you soon at learndobecome.com.